Very, very good morning to all of you, my friends. Welcome back. You guys are with the concepts of service costing. And further, I hope you guys have solved all the questions of study material. So today we'll be starting with, again, one of the most important chapter of the syllabus, that is standard costing. No worries, Anmol, that's okay. Very good morning, Divya. So without wasting time, very good morning, Pawan. Very good morning, Nisha. Good morning, Tanishka. So without wasting time, let's start with standard costing. So now when talking about standard costing, this chapter has nothing to do with cost calculation. हम लोग कोई तरह का cost calculation नहीं करेंगे. See, in process costing, we learned that if a particular product passes through various processes, to calculate the cost, we use this process costing. Similarly, if from a particular process, two or more than two products emerge out, how to calculate the cost, we discuss joint and byproduct. Wherein service costing, if it is a service sector company, how to calculate the cost, we will be preparing a service cost sheet to calculate the cost. So all these chapter what we have discussed till now talks about the cost calculation. Now the standard costing technique has nothing to do with cost calculation. It's not a part of cost accounting. It's a part of management accounting, and it assists management in decision making. It's a tool that assists management in decision making. So when talking about standard costing, it's a part of management accounting, and it assists management in decision making. It's a part of management accounting, and it assists management in decision making. Now, this chapter is also known as variance analysis. So, how it assists management, we'll be discussing this throughout the chapter. So, this standard costing is also known as variance analysis. Now, let's start with this chapter. So, now see, every company do set up benchmark, targets, or standards at the beginning of the year. I repeat again, guys. Every company do set up some benchmark, targets, or standards at the beginning of the year. And when the actual results are out, they do compare these target sets with the actual results. Now, अब होता क्या है कि वो जो टारगेट सेट है और एक्चुअल रिजल्ट है उसमें कुछ ना कुछ डिफरेंस आता है. The difference between the target set and the actual result is what we call as variances. So this technique, standard costing techniques, help us to first find out the variances, and thereafter what are the factors that are responsible for these variances. That also standard costing technique help us to figure out. For the students who have joined late, Mr. Gwindi, good morning. Mr. Mitesh Patel, good morning. So when talking about standard costing, we can call this chapter as variance analysis also. So every company do set up benchmark targets or standards at the beginning of the year. And when the actual results are out, they do compare these targets set with the actual results. अब होता क्या है कि टारगेट सेट और एक्चुअल रिजल्ट्स में कुछ ना कुछ डिफरेंस आता है. वी कॉल देम एज वेरिएंसेस. नाउ हाउ टू कैलकुलेट दीज वेरिएंसेस, फर्स्ट पॉइंट, and second point, what are the factors that are responsible for these variances that standard costing technique help us to figure out. Let me discuss this concept with the help of an example. So let's say I'm manufacturing 10,000 units. I'm manufacturing 10,000 units. Let's say I have set up a benchmark or target that these 10,000 units will be manufactured using 20,000 kgs of raw material. 20,000 kgs of raw material. I repeat again, I do manufacture 10,000 units, and as per the target set, I have set up a target that these 10,000 units will be manufactured using 20,000 kgs of raw material. However, when the actual results were out, we actually consumed 22,000 kgs of raw material. We actually consumed 22,000 kgs of raw material. That is 2,000 kgs extra we consumed. So we can say it is loss for the company, it is adverse for the company. We can say it is adverse for the company. So we can call it as a variance, but it is not in numerical terms, but it is in monetary terms. In fact, it is in quantitative terms. So I'll be discussing this part in monetary terms also. Further, another example, let's say I thought that these 10,000 units will be manufactured using 10,000 hours. However, my workers worked efficiently and they finished the work in 9,800 hours only. They worked efficiently and they finished these 10,000 units in 9,800 hours. So these 200 hours is what? A good sign for the company, so we can call it as favorable. These 200 hours, we can say it's a good sign for the company, so we can call it as favorable. Another example, let's say I thought that these 10,000 units will be manufactured by incurring the overheads of rupees 5 lakh. But when the actual overheads were out, the actual overheads incurred were 5,50,000. We can call it as under or over absorption of overhead. But since the overheads are more and it is a loss to the company, so we can call it as adverse. So in simple terms, what are variances? The difference between the target set and the actual results are variances. Now, what are the factors contributing these variances? I'll be discussing this part in detail. I request you guys to copy this explanation. Very good morning, Mr. Mohammed. Very good morning, Mr. Mahindra. Good morning, Preeti. So now, let's say I'm the owner of a company and According to the resources provided, I targeted a profit of 5 lakh rupees at the year. I provide enough of man, machinery, material, everything, and resources, and accordingly, I targeted rupees. I set up a target that at least I should earn a profit of 50 lakh. Sorry, 5 lakh. However, when the actual results were out, my actual profit was only 3 lakh rupees. When the actual results were out, my actual profit was rupees 3 lakh only. That is 2 lakh rupees, 2 lakh less than what I expected. So we can call it as adverse for the company. I repeat again, I'm the owner of the company, and at the end of the day, I'm concerned about my final result, that is my profit. So as per the resources provided to my staff, I set up a target that at least I should earn a profit of rupees 5 lakh. Now, when the actual results were out, my actual profit was only 3 lakh, that is rupees 2 lakh less than what I expected. So it's a sign of concern for me. Now, the point is I have to figure out that what are the factors that are contributing to this loss of rupees 2 lakh. Mr. Yashvardhan, I'm not getting what you're saying. That's okay, Mamta. No worries. Very good morning. Take care of yourself. Admin sir, the board is visible. एकदम clear है ना? Okay. So now I have to figure out that who are the persons responsible for this loss of rupees 2 lakh. What are the factors that are contributing to this loss of rupees 2 lakh? So when talking about the profit, generally profit is calculated using two elements, that is sales, and second one is cost. First one is sales and second one is cost. So either there is something wrong with my sales department, or there must be something wrong with my cost department. So these are the major factors that contribute towards this loss of profit of rupees 2 lakh. So this loss of 2 lakh can be either due to change in sales or either can be due to change in cost. So these are the two major factors that are responsible for this loss of profit of rupees 2 lakh. So either it can be due to change in sales or it can be due to change in cost. When talking about cost, there are three elements of the cost. That is, either it can be due to material, it can be due to labor, or it can be due to overheads. As I told you, when talking about cost, there are three major elements of the cost, that is material, labor, and overhead. So, in simple terms, या तो sales department में कुछ गलत हो रहा है या cost department में गलत हो रहा है. When talking about cost also, we can break up this cost in three parts, that either there is something wrong in material department or labor department or overheads department. Further, these overheads can also be classified in two parts, that is fixed and variable. That is fixed and variable. So these are the factors that contribute to this loss of rupees 2 lakh. So what we have to do? अब हमें करना क्या पड़ेगा? We have to investigate each and every department deeply and thoroughly to figure out that who is the person responsible for this loss of rupees 2 lakh. I repeat again, what we have to do is we have to investigate each and every department one by one to figure out that who is the factor, what are the factors that are responsible for this loss of 2 lakh, or we can say who is the person who is responsible for this loss of rupees 2 lakh. So ultimately we have to investigate all these departments to figure out that ये जो rupees 2 lakh का loss आया है, किसकी वजह से आया है, who are the persons responsible for this loss of 2 lakh. So in this chapter we'll be investigating all these departments one by one to figure out that who is responsible for this loss of rupees 2 lakh. From examination point of view, guys, this part is not covered in syllabus. From examination point of view or from IPCC point of view, this part is still not covered in syllabus. So we'll be discussing 1, 2, 3, and 4. These 4 elements to figure out the exact reason for this loss of rupees 2 lakh. I request you guys to please copy this explanation further. Do write, comment what I am saying. So every time आपको वापस lecture देखने की जरूरत नहीं पड़ेगी. Simply you can just read the notebook and can revise what I have discussed in this session. So I request you guys to please copy this explanation further. Do write all your notes in writing in your notebook so that you can revise while preparing for the exams. Giving you 2 minutes time, guys. We'll try to, Mr. Mohammed. So let's take a quick recap of what I have discussed till now, as some of the students joined a bit late. They are the regular students in my batch. So when talking about standard costing, it has nothing to do with cost calculation. It's a part of management accounting and it assists management in decision making. When talking about the standard costing, we can say every companies do set up benchmark targets or standards at the beginning of the year. And when the actual results are out, they do compare these actual results with the target set. So the difference between the target set and the actual result is what we call as variances. So this standard costing technique helps us to first find out the variances. And second thing, what are the factors that are responsible for this variances? Who are the person responsible for these variances? That also standard costing technique helps us to figure out. Further, when talking about my final motto, that as the owner of the company, I'm most concerned about is my profit. So let's say I've set up a target that at least I should earn a profit of rupees 5 lakh, and accordingly, I provided enough of resources. But when the actual results were out, my actual profit was rupees 3 lakh only, that is rupees 2 lakh, much less than what I expected. So what are the factors that are responsible for this loss of 2 lakh? So when talking about profit, if there is any deviation in profit, either it can be due to change in sales or it can be due to change in cost. When talking about cost also, as discussed earlier, that there are 3 major elements of the cost, that is material, labor, and overheads. Further, overheads can be classified in 2 parts, that is fixed and variable. So these are the factors that are responsible for this loss of 2 lakh. So what we have to do, we have to investigate each and every, we have to deeply investigate each and every department, these departments, to figure out that who is contributing to this loss of rupees 2 lakh. When talking about this part is still not covered in syllabus. So we'll be thoroughly investigating the material department, labor department, fixed overhead department, and variable overhead department. So let's start with the investigation of material department. Let's start with the investigation of material department. So let's say I'm the owner of the company and Mr. Mohammed is the head of material department. I do call Mr. Mohammed, I think, and I say that I think you are the person, your department is the person, I mean, your department is responsible for this loss of rupees 2 lakh. So Mr. Mohammed says, sir, no, sir, give me a day's time. I'll prepare a detailed report to figure out that either my department is responsible or not. And further, who is the person responsible in my department for this loss of 2 lakh or anything less than that? So we'll be discussing this. We'll be investigating this material department. I'll be teaching you practically what exactly happened or how companies use the standard costing technique to figure out that what is going wrong in their system. So let's say I called Mr. Mohammed, who is the head of, I'm the owner of the company. I'm concerned about my profit. And there is a loss of rupees 2 lakh. I mean, we can say there is an adverse variance of rupees 2 lakh. So I called first the head of my material department, Mr. Mohammed, that Mr. Mohammed, I think you are the person responsible for this loss of 2 lakh. Since you are the head of the material department, do furnish me a detailed report. Now, what Mr. Mohammed will do? So what will be the approach of Mr. Mohammed? I'll be discussing this part in detail. So what Mr. Mohammed will do, he will first check that what are the targets set by the company, and then he will compare these targets set with the actual result. So what Mr. Mohammed do, he just try to figure out that what are the budget that are set by the company. And when he checks the budget, he figure out that there are two raw materials that are required to manufacture our product. And the raw material is either X, first is X and second is Y. Further, when talking about the quantity required for X, let's say 60 kgs of X is required and 40 kgs of Y is required. Total inputs are 100. Company do predict well in advance that there can be a normal loss of 20% of the input, so it will be 20 and 80 is my output. Now, Mr. Mohammed is well aware about that for every 80 units of output, we have to make two inputs. 60 of X, 40 of Y. Total inputs will be 100, 20 will be the normal loss and 80 is the output. Again, कंपनी का ऐसा कोई टारगेट नहीं है कि सिर्फ 80 यूनिट्स ही बनाना है. This is an estimated data that for every 80 units of output, we have to use 60 kgs of X, 40 kgs of Y. Total input will be 100, 20 will be the normal loss, and for output will be 80. So let's say if my actual output is 160. If my actual output is 160, that is double of my budgeted output. So this will be 120 units of X, 80 units of Y, 200 units will be the input, 40 will be the normal loss, and 160 will be my output. कंपनी ऐसा कहीं नहीं कह रही है कि सिर्फ हमें 80 यूनिट्स बनाने हैं. कंपनी ने सिर्फ एक डेटा दिया है. क्या डेटा दिया है कि फॉर एवरी 80 यूनिट्स ऑफ आउटपुट, दिस शुड बी द डेटा. दैट इज 60 should be the input of X, 40 should be the input of Y, total input should be 100, 20 will be the normal loss, and 80 will be my output. Further, company has given the price also, the suggested price, that X should be purchased at the rate 5, Y should be purchased at the rate 4. So this is the budgeted data that is given by the company. Now what Mr. Mohammed will do, he will check the actual results. He will check the actual data wherein quantity consumed of X is there, price is there, and amount is there. So when talking about the quantity that is consumed for raw material X, it is 700. For Y, it is 300. Total inputs are my 1000. The actual loss was 30% of the input, so it is 300, and my actual output is 700. Further, when talking about the actual price, they purchased X at the rate rupees 4. They purchased Y at the rate rupees 5. So my total amount was so this is the information that is given in the company's data, wherein when talking about the budgeted data, it is given that for this 80 units of output, we have to make two types of input, that is X and Y. X should be 60, Y should be 40, total input should be 100, 20 will be the normal loss and 80 will be the output. When they're talking about the actual results, the actual units manufactured were 700. For this, they consumed 700 kgs of X, 300 kgs of Y, total input was 1000, 300 was the normal loss and actual output was 700. Now the point is, my question is, are these two figures comparable? Yes or no? I just want a simple answer. Are these two figures comparable? Yes or no? Can we say X 60 kgs use karna tha, but we used 700 kgs? The X which was supposed to be used 60 kgs, we actually used 700. Can we say like this? My point is, are these two figures comparable? मेरा ये कहना है कि क्या हम इन दोनों को कंपेयर कर सकते हैं या नहीं कर सकते हैं? Waiting for your answers, guys. So I've got answer from Ankur, from Rohan. Yes, rest everyone waiting for your answers. Mamta, Shweta, Vijay, Mr. Mohammed, you are the head of the material department. So you should be the first one to answer, Mr. Mohammed Huzair. Still I have not received answer from you, Mr. Mohammed. Pratna Sarthi, good. Sushil, I've got answer from Sushil. Mr. Vijay Raghavan, okay. Kiran Shukla, Shweta. Okay, so I've got answer from many of the students. Yes, no, yes, no. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. He resigned probably. I just want only one answer, that is either yes or no. No other opinion. I don't want any opinion from your end, Mr. Yashwardhan. Mohammed, I have not received your answer. The last query what I have received is, sir, will you be taking job costing class or not? So waiting for your opinion, Mr. Mohammed. Okay, I've received your answer now. So now this is correct answer, that quantity can be compared, from Mr. Yashwardhan. Yes, Anmol. Yes, we can compare as for it. So see, I have got answers from few of the students as yes, some of the students no. So a question for all of you guys, a very simple question. In fact, an explanation for you guys. Let's say I'm the manufacturer of ice cream. Sorry, let's say I'm the manufacturer of shirt, and one shirt required 2 meters of fabric. I'm a manufacturer of a shirt. Okay, Prashant. Yes, Mr. Mohammed. So let's say I'm the manufacturer of a shirt, and as per the target set by the company, one shirt requires 2 meters of fabric. One shirt requires 2 meters of fabric. Now, actually, this is my budgeted data. This is my budget. Now, when talking about the actual result, actually we manufactured 5,000 shirts. Actually, we manufactured 5,000 shirts using 10,500 meters. So my question is, can we compare 2 meters with 10,500 meters? Can we say that we were supposed to use only 2 meters of the raw material, but we actually use 10,500 meters? क्या हम लोग ऐसा कह सकते हैं? Again, I repeat, can we say कि हमें सिर्फ 2 meters use करना चाहिए? We actually use 1,500 meters. Can we say this statement? No, guys, because if we are using 2 meters of 2 meters of fabric, we are manufacturing only one shirt. And herein, we are using 10,500 meters of fabrics and we are manufacturing 5,000 shirts. So my point is, are these two figures comparable? So the answer is no. Now, abhi sabka answer correct aayega, no. Because herein we can say ki bhai, if we are using 2 meters, we are getting only one shirt as an output. But herein, the actual production is 5,000 shirts. That's why the raw material consumed is much more than what the budgeted data given. So what we will do is, we can say in a better way that for 5,000 shirts, we should have actually consumed 10,000 meters. For 5,000 shirts, we should have actually consumed 10,000 meters because one shirt required 2 meters. So for 5,000 shirts, we should have actually consumed 10,000 meters. But how much quantity I actually consumed? 10,500. So we consumed 500 meters extra, so we can call it as adverse for the company. So my point is this 2 meters and 10,500 meters comparable? No. Why? Because the output is different. Herein, for 2 meters, the output is one shirt. And for 10,500 meters, the output is 5,000 shirts. So we cannot compare these two data because their output is not same. So herein, matching with the output, one shirt required 2 meters. So these are my 5,000 shirts that are actual shirts. So these 5,000 shirts should be manufactured using 10,000 meters. But actually, we consume, to manufacture these 5,000 shirts, we actually consume 10,500 meters. That is 500 meters, much more than what we expected. So this is how I got the variance of 500 meters. That is adverse for the company. Very good, Anmol. It can be more also, Shweta. There are chances of loss. By the end of this part, this material variances, you will be thorough with the concept. So don't worry. So herein, when talking about 2 meters and 10,500 meters, these figures are not comparable. Why? Because very important. The reason is the output, that their output is not same. 2 meters, one shirt. So 5,000 meters, we should have consumed 10,000 meters. But actually, the work was done in 10,500 meters. That is 500 meters extra we consume. So we can call it as adverse. So the point is, why these two figures were not comparable? Because their output were not same. So what we did, we calculate the revised raw material. What we did, we calculate the revised raw material. That is one shirt, 2 meters. So 5,000 shirts, how many meters? 10,000 meters were supposed to be used, but we actually used 10,500 meters. So now, similarly, herein also, my budgeted output is how much? 80 units. And my actual output is how much? 700 units. So are these two figures comparable? So the answer is no, because these two figures are not comparable. Why? Because their output is not same. This question आपको easy लग रहा है because the figures are simple. So again, similar to this question, this data is given for how much units of output? 80 units of output. However, when talking about the actual data, this is for 700 units of output. So can we make this data comparable? Can we make this data comparable? Yes, we can make it comparable. We have to prepare revised budget, or we can say revised standard. So the same approach, one shirt, 2 meters. So 5,000 shirts, 10,000 meters. 80 units of output. 80 units of output require 60 kgs of X. So for 700 units of output, how much kgs of X should be consumed? Can you please post your answers? Very good, Shweta. I repeat again, the same approach. One shirt, 2 meters. So 5,000 shirts, how many meters? We have calculated 10,000 meters. So similarly, 80 units of output, 60 kgs. So for 700 units of output, how much kgs? Can you please answer? Waiting for your queries. So how much quantity of X should have been used to manufacture 700 units of output? Can you please tell me? So I've got answer from Anmol Patwa. Your answer is correct. I repeat again, for 80 units of output, we do require 60 kgs. So for this 700 units of output, how much quantity was supposed to be used? Waiting for your answers. Incorrect answer, Sushil. Anmol Patwa, very good, correct answer. Harshita, correct answer. Avinash Patil, correct answer. Mamta Yadav, incorrect answer. Nisha Kumari, correct answer. Very good, Shweta, correct answer. Ankur Patel, correct answer. Sai Divya, correct answer. Mr. Mohammed, you being the head of material department, I do expect a correct answer from you. Your answer is incorrect, my dear. Bandi, Mr. Bandi, correct answer. Yashwardhan, correct answer. Mr. Vijay Raghavan, correct answer. Mr. Pratna Sarthi, correct answer. Shweta, very good, correct answer. Manohar, your answer is incorrect. Rest all waiting for your answers. Kadambri, your answer is correct. Mr. Prashant Kumar, Sai Divya, Pavan Joshi, Preeti Khaitan, waiting for your answer. Mr. Srinivasan, Rohan Kumar, Ankur Patel, waiting for your answers, guys. Mamta Yadav, this time your answer is correct. Very good. Ms. Gomti, correct answer. Preeti, correct answer. Manohar, your answer is incorrect. Mitesh Bhai Patel, your answer is correct. Very good, everyone. So Prashant Kumar, incorrect answer. Now Kiran S. I think earlier you posted incorrect answer. Let me check, Kiran. No, I think you're posting for the first time. That's okay. So Kiran, very good, correct answer. So the approach is very simple. The cross multiplication rule. So 60 units for 60 for 80 output. So for 700 output, how much? 520. So 60 for 80 output. The same cross multiplication, 60 into 700 divided by 80. So this is how I got 525. So in short, to manufacture this 700 units, we should have consumed 525 kgs of X at the rate 5. So my total cost that was supposed to be incurred to manufacture these 700 units of X raw material should be 2625. Similarly, for Y, waiting for your answers, guys. Manohar Yadav, now this time it is correct. Very good, Shweta, correct answer. Sushil, now your answer is correct. So can anyone suggest me what should be the quantity that was supposed to be used for Y? Now Mohammed, correct answer. Very good. So how much quantity of Y was supposed to be used? Can anyone help me out with the quantity of Y? Okay, so now this time Anmol, correct answer. Mr. Vijay, correct answer. Avinash, correct answer. Divya, correct answer. Gomti, Harshita, Mamta, Pratna Sarthi, correct answer. Nisha Kumari, Kiran S, correct answer. Preeti, Ketan, I think you have posted incorrect answer, or either I think it's a typing error. Yes, Mr. Rohan, waiting for your answer. Ankur Patel. Okay, so I have got answer from Preeti. Your answer is incorrect. Kiran, correct answer. Shweta, correct answer. Ankur. Kadambari, but your answer is incorrect. I'm surprised. Preeti and Kadambari, your answers are incorrect. Manohar, very good. Now this time your answer is correct. Mohammed, very good. Your answer is correct. Mamta, very good. Your answer is correct. Prashant Kumar, again I'm surprised. So Prashant, Kadambari and Preeti, your answers are 150 kgs and this is incorrect. Please recheck your answer and repost your answer. The approach is very simple, wherein 40 units are used for 80 units of output. 40 kgs are used for 80 units of output. So for 700 kgs, I'm not using this 700. I'm not using this 700. मैं ये 700 use नहीं कर रहा हूं. I'm using the output, not the input. Few students posted using 300. This approach is incorrect. See guys, हमेशा क्या चेक करना है? Output. Again, think logically. Input से हमें क्या लेना देना? We have nothing to do with the inputs. Just we have to check the output. That how much quantity was supposed to be consumed for that units of output and how much quantity we actually consumed. Sushil Kumar Barik, incorrect answer. Ms. Shwati, incorrect answer. So guys, very important when talking about the material part. The basis of comparison is what? Is my writing in bold for your reference. When talking about material, the basis of comparison is output. So for 525 also, I have not used this 700. I've used this 700. So this will be 350. So to manufacture these 700 units, 350 kgs of Y was supposed to be used, and actually we used 300 kgs. So 350 kgs of Y were supposed to be used at the rate 4. So my cost was that was supposed to be incurred is. So the total cost that was supposed to be incurred is how much? 4,025. The raw material that was supposed to be used for this 700 units of output should be how much? 875. But we actually used 1,000. If you guys have any doubts in this part, you guys can please post your query. Now your answers are correct. Kadambari, Prashant, Sushil, Preeti, I hope you are thorough with the concept. Swati, I've got correct answer now. Preeti, any doubts? Preeti Khetan. Yes, the normal loss should be 20% of input. So if we deduct normal loss, that is 175, that is 20% of input, we will get 700 units as output. So in short, Preeti, any doubts? Preeti, okay, now Preeti has posted correct answer. Very good. So in short, what I want to say is that for this 700 units of output, कितना खर्चा होना चाहिए था? This much we should have spent. But for this 700 units of output, the amount that is actually spent is this much. So this is what we can say that now these two figures are comparable. कि for 700 units, कितना खर्च होना चाहिए था this much amount we should have spent, but the amount that is actually spent is this much. For your reference, I'm writing the calculations also of X and Y. Again, don't try to do any sort of rectification. Don't try to memorize any formulas. Just use your brains and apply the concept कि हम लोग क्यों ऐसा कर रहे हैं, why we are doing all this. You'll be able to understand the chapter in a better way. So very simple, guys. So for this 700 units, ultimately खर्चा कितना होना चाहिए था? For this 700 units, how much amount we were supposed to spend? 4,025. For this 700 units, the amount that we were supposed to spend is 4,025. The amount that is actually spent is how much? 4,300. How much extra? 275 extra cost we incurred. So we can call it as adverse for the company. So in short, we can simply write A. If it is good for the company, if it is making profit, if it is profitable for the company, we can directly write F. But if it is loss to the company or there is something going wrong with the company, we have to write A. That is adverse. Yes, Manohar. These two figures are not comparable. We have made it comparable. Now we can say these two figures are comparable. Nisha. The budgeted data and actual data were not comparable. So what we did, we prepared a revised budget and then we compared this actual data with the revised budget. So how much cost was supposed to be incurred for manufacturing 700 units? For manufacturing 700 units, we should have spent 4,025 rupees, but we actually spent, we should have spent 4,025 rupees, but the amount we actually spent is 4,300. That is 275 rupees extra we spent. So that's why we call it as adverse. So this is all what? The material cost variance. So now Mr. Mohammed is well aware about that this much loss they have contributed to the company, assuming these figures are in thousand. So now Mr. Mohammed is well aware about that this much loss his department has contributed to the overall loss of the company. Assuming these figures are in thousand, so it is 275 adverse. Now, alternatively, we can say that when talking about these 700 units, the quantity of X that was supposed to be used is how much? 525. X was supposed to be purchased at the rate 5. But when talking about the actual data, the quantity that is actually used to manufacture, the quantity that is actually consumed of raw material X is 700 at the rate 4. So 700 units बनाने के लिए X use होना चाहिए था 525 kgs at the rate 5, but the X raw material was used how much? 700 kgs at the rate 4. When talking about Y also, the quantity we were supposed to use was 350 kgs at the rate 4, but we actually consumed only 300 kgs. However, the rate was rupees 5. So herein we can say 100 adverse and 175. So this is how I got 275 adverse. So when talking about the cost variance, yes, Miss Divya. Yes, Kiran Shukla. So ultimately, in short, for 700 units, 525 use होना चाहिए था at the rate 5, but 700 use हुआ at the rate 4. Similarly, when talking about Y, 350 kgs were supposed to be used at the rate 4, but we actually used 300 kgs at the rate 5. So this is how we can calculate the cost variance. So cost variance can be directly calculated, that how much should be the total cost, kitna kharch hona chahiye tha 4025. How much amount we actually spent 4300. 275 directly, or alternatively you can provide the detailed data that 525 at the rate 5 was supposed to be used, but we used 700 at the rate 4 for X, and for Y 350 was used, quantity was supposed to be used at the rate 4, but we actually used 300 kgs at the rate 5. So both the approaches are correct. So now see, this was the target price that is management suggests. Management has suggested that you should purchase X at the rate 5 and Y at the rate 4. But when talking about actual data, we purchased X at a more competitive price. So we were supposed to purchase X at the rate 5, but we actually purchased at the rate 4. So the purchase manager did a great job. But when talking about Y, we were supposed to purchase Y at the rate 4, but he actually purchased at the rate 5. So there is something wrong with the purchase manager, or there is something wrong with the price estimation by the management. So this is the reason. This is the actual data that is given in the question. This is the budgeted data that is given in the question. So I hope, Mr. Mohammed, your query is resolved. If you guys have any doubts till now, then please post your query. Just give me 2 minutes time. Anyone having any doubts or queries can please post your queries. Waiting for your queries, guys. We are done with the material cost variance. So now Mr. Mohammed has calculated that this much loss his department, that is the material department, has contributed towards the overall loss of the company. Anyone having any doubts, queries, can please post your queries. Now, since Mr. Mohammed is the head of the material department, so now he has to figure out that what is going wrong in his department. Okay, he has calculated the loss of 275 that he is contributing, his department is contributing towards the overall loss of the company. But now he has to figure out that since he is the head of the material department, so where exactly the things are going wrong in his department. So here, when talking about this material cost variances, it can be due to two reasons. See, herein there are two factors that are responsible to calculate the material cost variance. That is the difference in the quantity and the difference in the price. That is, there is a difference of quantity of 525, 700, 350, 300. Further, there is a difference of price also, that is 5 and 4 and 4 and 5. So these are the two factors. These are the two factors responsible for this cost variance of rupees 275. So either it is, the first factor is due to change in price, and the second factor is due to change in quantity. So these are the two factors, that is price में change हो रहा है और quantity में change हो रहा है, और इसी वजह से हमारा material cost variance आ रहा है. So now the point is, he has to figure out, Mr. Mohammed has to figure out that what is going wrong in the department, who is the person responsible for this loss of 275. So let's say what Mr. Mohammed will do, he will first call the purchase manager. So let's say Shweta is the purchase manager of this company. Now Mr. Mohammed will call Ms. Shweta, that Ms. Shweta, I think you are the person responsible for this loss of 275. So please give the justification. Now, guys, very interesting point. Do listen to the justification that is given by the purchase manager. Very important. So, very important. I request you guys to please pay attention. Do listen that what the justification the purchase manager is going to give to Mr. Mohammed, the head of the material department. So when talking about the purchase manager, so do listen to the justification that is given by Shweta. Shweta says, sir, no, sir, I am not contributing to any loss. Let me justify this. So very interesting, guys. What Shweta will say, that I was supposed to purchase raw material X at the rate 5. I repeat again, guys, do pay attention to what I'm saying. Very important. Do listen to the justification that is given by the purchase manager. So Shweta says that, sir, as instructed as per the target set by the company, I was supposed to purchase raw material at the rate 5. I actually purchased X at the rate rupees 4. And the quantity I actually purchased is how much? 700 units. Similarly, for Y also, I was instructed by you to purchase raw material at the rate 4. That is Y raw material at the rate 4. But I actually purchased at the rate 5. And when talking about the quantity, I actually purchased, it is 300. So herein I made a profit to the company, that is 700 favorable. However, I understand there is a loss to the company by 300, but the net profit I contributed towards the company is still 400. Very important, guys. I repeat again the statement of the purchase manager. What she says, that I was supposed to purchase raw material. As per the target set by the company, the raw material X was supposed to be purchased at the rate 5. But I actually purchased at a competitive price, that is rupees 4. And the quantity I actually purchased is 700. Further, when talking about Y also, I was supposed to purchase Y at the rate 4 as instructed by the management. But okay, due to some or other reasons, I have to purchase Y at the rate 5. And the quantity I purchased is actually 300. So herein, I understand that I have contributed to this loss of 300. But yes, overall, my profit is of 400. I made a profit contribution of 400 rather than the loss. So what's the job of purchase manager? Very important. What's the job of purchase manager? To purchase the product at the competitive price. So herein, when talking about the price part, it is the responsibility of purchase manager. And this variance, what we have calculated, it talks about the difference in price. But this variance, what I have calculated, it talks about the difference in price. So we can call it as material price variance. This variance talks about the difference in price. So that's why we call it as price variance. I repeat again, this variance talks about the difference in price. So that's why we call it as material price difference or material price variance. So when talking about material price variance, it talks about the work that is done by the purchase manager of company. If you guys have any doubts, I'm asking individually. If you guys have any doubts, you guys can please post your query. If not, then I will post my query. I'll ask you a question. till now, any doubts, guys? Waiting for your queries. Because I have a question for you guys. Okay, so the first query as expected. I was about to ask the same, Mr. Manohar. So good. I'll be addressing your query. Don't worry. Yes, anyone else having any doubts or queries? Waiting for your queries, guys. Yes, individually, I'm asking to everyone. Do you have any queries? Okay. Anmol Patwa, no query. So you are thorough with the concept. Vijay Raghavan, no query. Kiran Shukla, no query. Shweta Maruti, no query. Yes, waiting for your answers. I mean, waiting for your feedback. Do you have any doubts? Because again, I'll be posting my query now. So Manohar, you are out of the box now for this question because you are asking me the same question what I was supposed to ask. Nisha, okay, no worries. I'll still okay now. So no queries. Yes, Divya. Anyone else having any doubts? Waiting for your queries, guys. Gomti, Kadambari, Swati, Mr. Miss Shweta. Okay, Miss Shweta is posted. Mr. Mohammed, any doubts? So apart from this query, I think everything is clear with you, Preeti, right? Mr. Ankur, any doubts? Nisha Kumari, any doubts? Prashant, Pratna Sarthi, Mr. Bundy, any doubts? Harshita. So I think no queries from your end. Perfect. Okay. So perfect. Now my question is, apart from Manohar Yadav, I want answers from everyone since you have no queries. So I have a query for you. See, okay, I said that when talking about the price variance, we talks about the work done by the purchase manager. That is, the raw material X was supposed to be purchased at 5, but I actually purchased at 4. That is okay. The raw material Y was supposed to be purchased at 4, but I actually purchased at 5. So this much part is okay with me. But why I have taken the actual quantity? Instead of 700 and 300, can I take 525 and 350? So why I have taken this 700 and 300? That is my question. So now waiting for your answers. Tanishka, I have just got your message that, sir, I have not received any messages, but for now I have received your messages that, sir, are you receiving my messages or not? So twice I have received your. So now I am getting the messages, Tanishka. So I request you guys to please address my query, waiting for your answers, guys. Instead of this 700 and 300, can I take 525, 350? My question. Plus, why I have specifically taken 700 and 300? That is my question. So waiting for your answers. Since I do address all your queries, so I request you guys to please address my query. Apart from Manohar, anyone can answer. That is not the correct answer, Preeti. Gomti, again, incorrect answer. So Vijay Raghavan, very good correct answer. Mr. Yashwardhan, correct answer. Tanishka, now you can please post your answers. I'm getting your messages. So Harish Chandir. Oh, Vijay Raghavan, correct answer. Gomti, I'm not sure what you are saying. Your answer is incomplete. Shweta, incorrect answer. Mr. Mohammed, being the head of the material department, I do expect a correct answer from you. So your answer is incorrect. Preeti, again, insufficient and incorrect answer. Yashwardhan, very good, correct answer. Shweta, again, very important. Being the in charge of purchase department, I do expect a correct answer. Your answer is incorrect. Srinivasan, incorrect answer. No, Vijay Raghavan, earlier your answer was correct, but this time incorrect answer. Somehow, somewhere, Avinash, I can say your answer is partially correct, partially incorrect. No, Harish, incorrect answer. Mamta, no, Mamta, nowhere near the actual answer. So, incorrect answer. Okay, Kiran Shukla, very good, correct answer. Prashant Kumar, incorrect answer. Anmol, incorrect answer. Anmol. Rohan Kumar. See, Rohan Kumar, you are talking about whatever it is written in the books. Again, incorrect answer. See, agar kuch bhi kar rahe ho, you should understand that why I am doing. See, this part, I hope everyone is thorough with that. Since we are calculating the price variance, so it should talk about the difference in price. So this much part is clear to all. But why I have taken actual quantity, this is my question. Bandi, somehow, somewhere, partially correct, partially incorrect. Okay, Sushil Kumar Barik, very good, correct answer now this time. Kiran Shukla, very good. Since he is getting the amount at a reasonable price, so he has purchased it more. Superb. Great mind, discuss ideas. Anmol Patwain, Karan. Yes, Kiran, again, well said. Your answer is correct. Kiran S. Somehow, somewhere, Mr. Gondi, Nagbala, Murugan, somehow, somewhere we can say your answers are correct. So I've got correct answer from many of the students, but yes, rest all were incorrect. So guys, now please do pay attention what I'm saying. When talking about the purchase manager, his duty is to focus on the price. His duty, what is the responsibility of the purchase manager to focus on the price? Now, he will purchase that much quantity only which is requested from stores. So when talking about this 700, 300 that is actually purchased, he must have got the request from the stores. If you guys were present, in my material session, I have discussed that what stores will do, they will issue some note to the purchase manager to purchase that much of quantity. We call it as the purchase requisition, that is request to purchase. So purchase manager is not at all concerned about कि क्या quantity use होना चाहिए था, क्या quantity use हुआ. So purchase manager has received purchase requisition from the stores department and accordingly he has purchased this 700 and 300. अब 700 300 stores वाला घर पे लेके जाए या कंपनी में यूज करे, he has nothing to do with. Even though the actual raw material use was supposed to be 525 kgs and 350 kgs, but purchase manager has nothing to do with the consumption part. Since the duty of the purchase manager is what? To purchase the products at the competitive price as per the request received from the stores. Purchase manager is not at all concerned about how much quantity was supposed to be consumed, how much quantity is actually consumed. The responsibility of the purchase manager is what? To purchase at the competitive price as per the request received from the stores. Again, since this much of request is received from the stores, so that's why when talking about analyzing the performance, what purchase manager will say that मुझे कोई मतलब नहीं है आप कितना यूज करते हो कितना यूज नहीं करते हो. This much request is received from the stores and I have purchased this much of quantity. So my performance, I repeat again, my performance should be evaluated on the basis of work done by me. I have actually purchased 700 units of X and 300 units of Y. So my performance should be evaluated on the basis of work done by me or quantity purchased by me. आप क्वांटिटी कितना कंज्यूम कर रहे हैं, आई एम नॉट एट ऑल कंसर्न अबाउट. सो दैट इज द रीजन व्हाई आई हैव टेकन 700 and 300. So I repeat again, when talking about, let's summarize, I'm talking about the work done by the purchase manager. He is responsible only for the price. But when talking about why I have used actual quantity, very simple guys, परचेज मैनेजर को कोई मतलब नहीं है क्वांटिटी कितना कंज्यूम हो रहा है कितना कंज्यूम नहीं हो रहा है. To evaluate his performance, what he will say that this much request I have received from stores and this much I have purchased. That's it. I'm not at all concerned about कि आप उसमें से कितना रॉ मटेरियल यूज करते हैं या कितना रॉ मटेरियल खराब होता है. I'm not at all concerned about. My concern is only to purchase the desired raw material at the competitive price. If you guys have any doubts in this part, you guys can please post your query. So very important, purchase manager क्या बोलेगा? So what Shweta will say, Shweta is the purchase manager, what Shweta will say that my performance should be evaluated on the basis of quantity I actually purchased. Why? Because this much request I have received from the stores to purchase this much of quantity. अब वो quantity मैंने purchase करके आपको दे दिया है. I'm not at all concerned about आप क्या use करते हैं, क्या use नहीं करते हैं. This was my duty to purchase the raw material at the competitive price. How much quantity I have purchased because as per the request that I have received from stores. So my performance should be evaluated only on the basis of the raw material I actually purchased. आप कितना consume करते हो, I am not at all concerned about. I hope this part is clear to all. So why I have taken actual quantity here? Anyone having any doubts, guys? Yes, Abdul, Shweta. So guys, the standard costing is practically applied in all the industry. So that's why I'm talking all these points in detail one by one. That is, when talking about the purchase manager, it talks only about the price. Purchase manager will say that my performance should be evaluated on the basis of work done by me. Since instructed from the stores, I purchased 700 and 300. अब purchase manager ने purchase किया होगा तभी use हुआ होगा. So that's why the material price variance is calculated using the actual quantity rather than the standard quantity. Hopefully, Vijay Raghavan, your query is resolved. Yes. Anyone else having any doubts? Yes, Preeti, Nisha, Miss Anindita Show, Rohan Kumar, Prashant, Kiran Shukla, Harish Chander, Srinivasan, any doubts? Tanishka, any doubts? Still, if you guys have any doubt, I can explain it again. Very important, guys. When talking about price variance, क्या प्राइस पे परचेस करना चाहिए था माइनस क्या प्राइस पे परचेस किया इनटू एक्चुअल क्वांटिटी. बिकॉज व्हाई आई हैव टेकन एक्चुअल क्वांटिटी? बिकॉज परचेज मैनेजर को कोई मतलब नहीं है रॉ मटेरियल कितना यूज हो रहा है. परचेज मैनेजर विल से दैट दिस मच इज द रिक्वेस्ट आई हैव रिसीव्ड फ्रॉम स्टोर्स एंड आई हैव परचेज्ड दिस मच ऑफ क्वांटिटी. Yes, Srinivasan, very true. Yes, Tanishka, any doubts? Rohan, any doubts? Mr. Pratna Sarthi, any doubts? So now, this was the explanation that is given by Shweta, the purchase manager. So now, Mr. Mohammed ka tension बढ़ गया है because the overall loss of the company is 275. The overall loss of the company is 275. 1 second, guys. Overall loss of the company is 275. 1 second, guys. So now overall loss of the material department is 275, wherein when talking about the work done by the purchase manager, she says that I have contributed towards profit, not towards loss. So it means now the tension of Mr. Mohammed is increasing because this department is the key, wherein I think they have made a loss of 675. See, this department had made a profit of 400. So this department, I think, has contributed towards a loss of 675. That's why we are getting 275 as adverse. So now what Mr. Mohammed will do? Very good, Shweta. So he'll call your friend who is the production head or production manager. So now what Mr. Mohammed will do, he'll call the production manager, the head of the production department, who is actually responsible for consuming the raw material. So what Mr. Mohammed will do, he'll call the production manager. Let's say Miss Preeti is the purchase manager. Sorry, Miss Preeti is the production manager. She is responsible for managing the raw material, how to use, when to use, and how to use it in the most efficient way. So what Mr. Mohammed will do, Mr. Mohammed will call whom? The production manager. That is Mr. Product. Let's say Preeti is the production manager. Now, what Mohammed will say that I think you are the person responsible for this loss to the company. Do give me a statement, or either you resign, or what you have to do, you just decide. So now what Preeti says, just give me a minute's time. I'll give you my explanation that whether I am contributing towards the loss or not. So let's say what Preeti says, when talking about X, very important, do pay attention to the statement of production manager. When talking about product X, I was supposed to use 525 kgs. Okay. The production manager is responsible for the quantity. As the purchase manager was responsible for the price, the production manager is responsible for what? The quantity. So I was supposed to use X 525 kgs. I actually used 700 kgs of it. Similarly for Y, I was supposed to use 350 kgs of Y, but I used only 300 kgs. Now, since we have to present all the variances in monetary terms, so herein we'll be taking the standard price, that is 5 and 4, not 4 and 5, because again, purchase manager को production manager के काम से कोई लेना देना नहीं है. So again, when talking about the evaluating the performance of production manager, we will not consider the work done by the purchase manager. Production manager will say that my performance should be evaluated only by the standard price. I have nothing to do with the work done by the purchase manager. So this 4 and 5 represent what? This actual price represents what? The work done by the purchase manager. This 4 and 5, the actual price represents what? The work done by the purchase manager. So we cannot use the work done by the purchase manager to evaluate the performance of the production manager. So that's why we will be taking the standard price, that is 5 and 4. So herein, this will be 200 favorable. And this will be 875 adverse. So we have got the same figure, that is 675 adverse. So very important, guys. Now Mr. Mohammed will say that, Preeti, what's going wrong with you, or what's going wrong in the production department? See, the company cannot remove Preeti. Being the production manager, the company cannot remove Preeti. But what they will do, they will tell Preeti to look into the matter and check that where the things are going wrong in your department. Either your engineers are not doing good, or your ultimate labor supervisors are not doing good. What is wrong with your department? Company जो है production head को निकाल नहीं सकता, but yes, they can give the strict instruction to the production manager that please look into your department. So here, when talking about the production manager, the company cannot remove them because they are the senior most person in the company. But yes, they can issue advisory and guidelines to the production manager. Please look into your department and figure out that where the things are going wrong. So here, when talking about production managers, they talks about the quantity. See how much quantity was supposed to be used. कितना use होना चाहिए था? 525 kg. How much quantity we actually used? 700. Similarly for Y also, how much quantity was supposed to be used? 350. How much we actually used? 300 into the standard price, because the work of the production manager cannot be evaluated on the basis of work done by the purchase manager. And this actual price represents what? The work done by the purchase manager. So herein it talks about usage. So we can call it as material usage variance. So simply, when talking about material usage variance, कितना use करना चाहिए था, कितना use किया into standard price. Why I have taken standard price? Because actual price represents the work done by the purchase manager. Somehow, somewhere we can say Preeti, but company can't remove Preeti because she is the head of the production department. So they will issue advisory guidelines to Preeti to check and to look into the things that what exactly the things are going wrong in her department. The actual price represents the work done by the purchase manager. So the performance of the production manager will not be evaluated by the work done by the purchase manager. That's why I have taken 5 and 4 the standard price. Anyone having any doubts or queries, can please post your queries, guys. Thank you so much, Sushil Kumar. It is my duty to teach the concepts in detail. So thank you once again. So Mr. Mohammed, the head of the material department, has got the detailed report of Shweta, the head of purchase department, and Preeti, the head of material use, the production department. If you guys have any doubts in this explanation, you guys can please post your queries. Waiting for your queries, guys. I'll be discussing this part also, Mr. Srinivasan. Don't worry. Yes, Shweta, when talking about the work done by the production manager, there is a loss of 675. However, somehow, somewhere, it was actually covered by the work done by the purchase manager. And this is how I got the total loss of 275. You're welcome, Yash Vardhan. Thank you so much. Anyone else having any doubts or queries, can please post your queries. I'll be going for a break now. I'm a bit tired now. So let's take 15 minutes break. I'll be back after 15 minutes and we'll further evaluate or will further discuss in details about the production department and the production manager work and job. So let's take 15 minutes break. Much needed break. Money. Welcome back, guys. After much needed break. So, 1 second. Thank you so much, Mr. Mohammed. So now, Mr. Mohammed called purchase manager, that is Shweta, and she has given her explanation. And thereafter, he called Ms. Preeti, the head of the production department, and she has submitted her explanation. Now, till now, what we can see, as per the current picture, what we can see is that the major thing, the major problem is with the production department, and production department need to do something to fix it up. So Preeti, being the head of the production department, cannot be removed from the company. However, the guidelines will be issued by the management, and she has to fix up the corrective. She has to fix up and take corrective actions to fix up the things. Now, Preeti is very much upset with the performance of the production department. Now, I hope there are few students who must be working in corporate. Corporate culture है कि seniors अपना frustration juniors पे निकालते हैं. So since Preeti is a bit frustrated, so what she will do, she'll call her two juniors. So herein, when talking about the usage department, see, it talks about usage ki kitna use hona chahiye tha, kitna use hua. So herein, when talking about usage departments also, there are two more persons that are involved in the usage process, wherein first one is the engineer. Who is responsible to maintain the mix. See, the company advised to maintain the mix in the ratio of 60:40. That whatever the inputs you are making, it should be in the ratio of 60:40. But herein, when talking about the actual data, the actual mix is 70:30. So, कुछ usage में जो difference आया है, it is due to change in mix. See, the overall there is a difference in usage of raw material. However, the certain difference is due to change in mix, and the engineer is responsible for the change in mix. So let's say Mr. Yashwardhan is the engineer, and he is responsible to maintain that the mix as suggested by the management. So herein, as per the actual inputs, my actual inputs are 1000. It should be in the ratio of 60:40. I repeat again, when talking about the actual mix, it should be in the ratio of 60:40. So Mr. Yashwardhan should mix the product in the ratio of 60:40. That is 600 should be X, 400 should be Y. But the engineer, Mr. Yashwardhan, changed the mix to 70 and 30 on his own wish or will, whatever it is. Since again, these are the subordinates of usage department, so actual price will not be a part. So herein also will be taking the standard price only, that is 5 and 4. So herein, what Preeti will do, she will first call the engineer that yes, our usage department has suffered a loss of 675, and I think because of your special engineering that we made that loss. So now Mr. Yashwardhan is explaining that I should have maintained the mix in the ratio of 60:40. But I understand that I have changed the mix. It may be due to for the betterment of the company or whatever it is. Yashwardhan can give somehow somewhere the explanation. So I have changed the mix from 60:40 to 70:30. So herein there is a loss of 500. However, there is a profit of 400 also here. So overall, there is a loss of 100 only when talking about the work done by the engineer, Mr. Yashwardhan. So this engineer, the work of the engineer represents what? The work of the engineer represents what? To maintain the mix. सी ये जो रॉ मटेरियल यूजेस ज्यादा हुआ है, there are two factors. Either it is due to the work of the engineer, and second is due to the work done by the production supervisor. So herein, when talking about the work done by the engineer, Mr. Yashwardhan says that even though आपने मुझे 60-40 बोला, I have changed the mix from 60-40 to 70-30 for the betterment of the company. So the product quality has improved. Yashwardhan, somehow someone can give explanation that I have done this for the betterment of the company. So herein, when talking about this 100 adverse represents what? Due to change in mix. So this variance we can call it as material mix variance. For every product, the mix is important. See, in fabric industry, yes, Divya, we can say somehow, somewhere. Next is your turn now. So now see, in every industry, the mix is important. Let's say from fabric industry, you have to maintain the adequate mix, that how much percentage cotton should be there, how much percentage lycra should be there, how much percentage nylon should be there, how much percentage of polyester should be there. When talking about the basic kitchen also, we need to maintain the mix while preparing tea. कि दूध कितना परसेंट होना चाहिए, पानी कितना परसेंट होना चाहिए. So mix is important for every product, and it's the engineer responsibility to maintain or manage the mix. So sometimes engineer do change the mix for the betterment of the product. कह सकते हैं कि 60% दूध डालना था, 40% पानी डालना था, बट मुझे लगा चाय बेटर बनेगी 70% मिल्क डालने से and 30% पानी डालने से. So for the betterment of the product, I have changed the mix. So engineer somehow, somewhere, if the product quality is good, can escape from this this system. But yes, again, somehow, somewhere, the company has to look into it, look into the work done by the engineer. So when talking about engineer, it talks about the mix. So when talking about mix, very simple, actual input is my 1000. It should be in the ratio of 60:40. That is 600:400. But actual input is 1000. It should be in the ratio of 60:40. That is 600:400. However, my actual mix was 700:300. So 600, 400, 700, 300. The standard price we will be taking, because again, these are the subordinates of the production department. So we'll be taking the standard price. So this is how I calculated the material mix variance. If you guys have any doubts in the material mix part, you guys can please post your queries. How I have calculated the mix, very simple. The standard mix is 60:40. So ultimately 1000 into 60/100 for X, and Y also 1000 into 40/100. So this is how I got 600 and 400. When talking about the formula, I have used very simple, guys. The actual input, we can say quantity divided by budgeted input into actual input. This is my budgeted input. This is my actual input into quantity. Standard quantity also we can use the formula. No need to memorize the formula. Just writing it for your reference. I suggest you guys not to use the formulas at all. That is quantity divided by budgeted output into actual output. So this is this. So explanation is done by Yashwardhan. So it means what? Now the production manager is well aware about that who is the culprit. So now Preeti is well aware about that who is the culprit, because Yashwardhan has justified his work that yes, even though there is a loss of 100, but I have improved the product quality. So somehow, somewhere he can escape. But again, this person cannot escape because he is the major contributing factor to this overall loss of 275. It means 675 is the loss, 100 is due to the work done by the engineer. It means 575 is the loss that is because of this person. That is the production supervisor or production head, we can say. Sorry, production manager is here. So we can say the production supervisor who is actually responsible for putting the raw material in the system and getting the output. So now what Preeti will do, she will call the production supervisor. Let's say Miss Divya Kumari is the production supervisor. So let's say Miss Divya is the production supervisor. She calls Divya that I think Divya, you are the culprit, and I think you are the person responsible for this loss of 575. That what I can figure out. So now listen to the explanation of Divya. What Divya says, very important, guys. Oh Ajay, no worries. Please take care of yourself. Don't worry, things will be fine. You can check the recorded lecture. That's okay, Ajay. So now do listen to Divya's statement. So what Divya says, these 700 units are to be manufactured using 875 kgs of raw material. I repeat again, these 700 units of output, these 700 units of product should be manufactured using 875 kgs of raw material. I repeat again, these 700 units of output should be used. Sorry, these 700 units of output should be manufactured using 875 kgs of raw material. However, to manufacture these 700 units, I actually consume 1000 kgs of raw material. I repeat again, guys, the Hindi explanation कि ये जो 700 units है, ये कितने raw material में बन जाना चाहिए था 875 kgs. But to manufacture these 700 units, how much quantity we actually use? कितना हमने use किया? 1000 kgs. How much extra kgs we consume? 125 kgs. Now the point is, when talking about the price, we have to take the standard price. But which price? 5, 4, 4.5, which is the better approach? So the best approach is what? Since this 125 kgs includes X also and Y also, so which price we should consider? Either 5 or 4 or 4.5 average price. Which price is the best approach? I mean, what is the best approach to explain this in monetary terms? So here, when talking about the price, since both X and Y are there in this 125, so we will take the weighted average price. That is 525 into 5 plus 350 into 4. Total is 4025 divided by 875. So we will take the weighted average price. So this will be 575. So herein, the ultimate role of production supervisor is what? The ultimate role of production supervisor is what? To use the raw material and get the final product. So I think in this system, this production supervisor is the culprit, and she has no explanation that why it is done or what it is done. Either it may be due to theft of raw material, or it may be due to loss of raw material, or it may be due to wrong usage of raw material. So ultimately, this is the problem in the system. So corrective action should be taken against this person who is the culprit. So herein, in this case, Divya is the culprit. Okay, so Divya is ready with the explanation. I say machines are old and workers do not work sufficiently. I also can give information about that. So nice explanation, Divya, but the company is not going to accept your explanation because you are the ultimate person who is responsible to use the raw material. So you can't give such type of justification. So enough of discussion, all this. Let's come back to the point. So here, the work that is done by the production supervisor. So when talking about in this part, the work that is done by the production supervisor is questionable. When talking about this variance, we can call it as material yield variance. So now the head of the material department, that is Mr. Mohammed, is ready with the explanation that yes, my department is contributing to an overall loss of 275. But when talking about the purchase manager, he has contributed towards profit. However, there is something wrong with the production department, wherein the usage of quantity, I mean, where the quantity, the raw material is actually used. So there is a loss of 675. When talking about the detailed briefing of this loss of 675, there are two factors. That is the person who actually mixes the raw material. So ultimately, when talking about the engineer who is responsible for mixing the raw material, so he can somehow somewhere give an explanation that yes, I have changed the mix for the betterment of the company, for the betterment of the product. But yes, when talking about the raw material yield variance, there is the problem wherein हम लोगों ने बहुत ज्यादा रॉ मटेरियल यूज कर लिया, इतना यूज नहीं करना चाहिए था. We have used 125 kgs extra for manufacturing these 700 units. So that's why we call it as material yield variance. If you guys have any doubts in this part, you guys can please post your queries. So as I told you guys, this standard costing technique first help to figure out that what are the variances. Variance kitna hai? So herein, when talking about the material department, the overall variance is 275. The overall variance is 275. Now, who are the person responsible for this loss of 275? Very simple. Somehow, somewhere we can say this person is responsible for this loss of 275. This person should be promoted and should be given incentive so that she can make a profit on this part also, that is raw material Y also, because every employee needs motivation. So if we motivate the purchase manager, she can purchase this raw material Y also at a competitive price. But yes, corrective action is to be taken against this person. So this is all what about, that is first standard costing technique help us to find out the variances. Then second point, who are the person responsible for these variances? That also standard costing technique help us to figure out. Tanishka, when talking about the price calculation part, it's very simple. See, there are 3 to 4 ways of calculating material yield variances. I'm discussing the easiest possible way. In all the ways, the answer will be the same. I repeat again, guys. In all the case, the answer will be the same. But this is the best and the easiest method. So I'm discussing this method. Very simple. ये 700 units कितने ही raw material में बन जाना चाहिए था? 875. But ये 700 units कितने raw material में बना? 1000 kgs. How much extra we use? 125 kgs. Now this 125 kgs can be X also, can be Y also. So कौन सा price लेना है? X का लेना है, Y का लेना है, average लेना है. So the best approach is use the weighted average price. That is 525 into 5 is 2625. 350 into 4 is 1400. So the total price is 4025 divided by total quantity is 875. This is how I got 575 adverse. I just want to correct you, Mr. Yashwardhan. The work done by the persons are the major reasons for these variances. It's not the excuses, my dear. So this is all what about these variances. The material cost variance, very simple. कितना cost लगना चाहिए था? 4025. कितना लगा? 4300. So 275 adverse. How come this 275 adverse? Again, we can calculate 525 kgs are to be used at the rate 5, but we actually use 700 kgs at the rate 4. Similarly, for Y, 350 kgs we were supposed to use at the rate 4, but we actually use 300 kgs at the rate 5. So this is how I got material cost variance. Very simple. 525 into 5 minus 700 into 4. So this is what my standard quantity into standard quantity into standard price minus actual quantity into actual price. just writing the formula for your satisfaction. I suggest you guys not to memorize the formula. There are no formulas in cost accounting. Just try to memorize the concept. ये जो story बनाया है, this is for your better understanding. Divya, please don't mind. Divya Kumari, please don't mind. So the point is, ये जो story बनाया है, it's just for your better understanding so that you can understand the concepts. Because see, approx 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Approx there are more than 20 formulas: SQ, SP, AQ, RSQ, RSP. So instead of memorizing the formulas, you'll find it more. This chapter will be more interesting for you if you try to memorize the concept. Solve 1 or 2 questions using concepts. You will be thorough with the concept. Then you can solve any questions. If you try to memorize the formula, अगर question एक pattern पे आया है, तो you will be able to solve. But if the examiner do change the pattern of the question, you will be helpless. आप formula लगा ही नहीं पाएंगे. So better I suggest to apply the concepts rather than memorizing the formulas, guys. So SQ into SP, AQ into AP. Now, when talking about the price variance, it talks about the price. So 5 should we should purchase the raw material at 5. It was purchased at the rate 4 into actual quantity. So it talks about the difference in price. So it's 5 is what? My standard price minus actual price into actual quantity. When talking about uses, कितना use होना चाहिए था? Standard quantity use होना चाहिए था. कितना use हुआ? The amount, the quantity that is actually used into standard price. Why standard price? I've already discussed. When talking about the mix also, what should be the mix? Standard mix. That is 600 and 400. What is the actual mix? Is my actual quantity into standard price. For material yield variances, as I told you, there are many other ways to calculate yield variance. For calculating yield variance, there are many other ways, but yes, I've used the easiest possible way. However, there is a formula that is given in the question, that is standard quantity minus standard mix into standard price. So this is the formula that is given in the study material. So when talking about that, the analysis of variance, again, see, the standard costing is just like here. See, if you're not well, see, again, a practical example. Again, a practical example. Suppose if you are down with fever, what you will do? Very simple. You will go to a doctor. Doctor will prescribe you few medicines. Let's say after 2 days also you're not keeping well. What doctor will advise? Doctor will advise you to go for a blood test report. So now, once the blood test report is ready, doctor will be able to figure out that where exactly the things are going wrong with you. So the standard costing is just like what? This is the test report of the company. This standard costing is what? The test report of the company. जैसे आपका बॉडी का ब्लड टेस्ट रिपोर्ट होता है, वैसे स्टैंडर्ड कॉस्टिंग की हेल्प से हम लोग क्या कर सकते हैं? पूरा कंपनी का डिटेल्ड रिपोर्ट बना सकते हैं. So after checking the blood report, doctor will give you the medicine. So after checking with this report, the management will take the corrective action against the culprits, or corrective action against the things which are going wrong in the system. So it's just like a diagnostic report of the company, wherein management just try to figure out that what are the things going wrong in the system, and accordingly they can take corrective action. If you guys have any doubts in this part, you guys can please post your queries. Nancy Saxena, which overheads you are talking about? I'm not getting. I have not yet started with overheads. Yes, Divya, any doubts, any queries, please don't mind. I've used your name here. So please don't mind. It's just to make the session interesting, my dear. What I assure you is that you will never forget this yield variance. This is the toughest variance wherein the students find it difficult to calculate yield variance. So I assure you, you will never forget this yield variance. Do remember me when the examiner do ask question on yield variance. Yes, Vardhan, I'll guide you how to write the solutions in the exams. Thank you so much, Swati, for the compliment. Thank you. Thank you once again. Okay, Tanishka, hopefully your query is resolved. Preeti, any other doubts? Waiting for your queries, guys. These are the formulas that are given in the study material. I request you guys not to memorize the formula. Better try to memorize the question. Yes, Shweta, Sushil, any doubts, guys? I hope you guys are thorough with the concepts. So we can say that material price variance plus material usage is what? Material cost. Material mix variance plus yield is what we can say material usage variance. Yes, Manohar, any doubts? Yashvardhan, Divya, any doubts? Nancy Saxena, any doubts? Shweta, Srinivasan, Swati, any doubts? Mr. Vijay Raghavan, Rohan, Kiran Shukla, Kiran S, Amul Patwa, any doubts? Anindita Shaw, any doubts? Mr. Mohammed, where are you? Any doubts? Harish, any doubts? Miss Gomti, Harish Chander, any doubts? So, that's great. Thank you so much, Divya. Thank you so much, Preeti. So, guys, let's revise what I have discussed in today's session because it's already 9:16. It's already 9:16. So let's take a quick recap. Then I'll give you guys some homework to solve the questions. So when talking about material variances, generally the information is given in the question as regards budgeted data and actual data. So first thing what you have to check is what? The output, whether the budgeted output and actual output are same or not. So herein my budgeted output is 80 and actual output is 700. So budgeted output, actual output आपका same नहीं है. The budgeted output and actual output is not same. So what? We have to revise the budgeted output. This data is given for 80 units of output. This data is given for 700 units of output. So we have to convert this 80 units data into 700 units data. So 60 is for 80. How much will be for 700? 525. 40 is for 80. So how much for 700? That is 350. So this was the material that was supposed to be used to manufacture 700 units. That is 525 units were supposed to be used at the rate 5, but we actually used 700 units at the rate 4. Similarly, for Y, 350 units were supposed to be used at the rate 4, but we actually used 300 units at the rate 5. So this is how we have got the total cost, that is कितना cost लगना चाहिए था, कितना cost लगा. So 4025 should be my budgeted, should be my cost for 700 units, but the actual cost is 4300. So this is how I got 275 adverse. That is 525 into 5 minus 700 into 4. 350 into 4 minus 300 into 5. This is what we call as the material cost variance. Now, this cost variance can be due to either change in price or change in quantity. When talking about the price, it represents the work done by the purchase manager. So this should be the price at which purchase manager should have purchased, but the purchase manager actually purchased at rupees 4. So 5 minus 4 into 700. Why actual quantity? I have already discussed in detail. So material price variance, standard price minus actual price into actual quantity. When talking about usage variance, again, it talks about the usage of material. So standard quantity, that is Ditchmas quantity, was supposed to be used minus the quantity that is actually used is 700 into standard price. So standard quantity minus actual quantity into standard price. Now, when talking about usage, again, there are two subordinates, the engineer and the production supervisor. Engineer is responsible for mixing. So very important, guys, this point is the key. You have to take actual input. Actual input should be in the ratio of 60:40 minus the actual mix 700, 300. This is how we will get the mix variance. So standard mix minus actual quantity into standard price. Yield variance, there is a formula that is given in the question. You can apply the formula, or alternatively, ये 700 units कितने kgs raw material में बनना चाहिए था? 875 kgs. But we took actually 1000 kgs. That is 125 kgs extra. Since this 125 kgs can be X or Y, so we have used the weighted average rate. So material mix plus yield will be usage. Usage plus price will be the cost variance. Thank you so much, Mr. Bundy. Thank you so much, Nancy. Thank you so much, Shweta. Thank you so much, everyone. So I request you guys to please copy this explanation quickly. I have to extend the session for 10 more minutes because I need to discuss one more question, guys. So I request you guys to please copy this explanation quickly, giving you 3 to 4 minutes time, please. Thank you so much, Nancy. Again, thank you so much once again, Nancy. I request you guys to please copy the explanation. So this is all what we have discussed, that is material, standard quantity into standard price minus actual quantity into actual price. Material price variance, standard price minus actual price into actual quantity. Material usage variance, that is standard quantity minus actual quantity into standard price. Material mix variance, that is standard mix minus actual quantity into standard price. And material yield variance, that is standard quantity minus standard mix into standard price. Thank you so much, Swati. Thank you so much, Nisha. So again, when talking about material cost variance, it is equals to material price variance plus material usage variance. When talking about material usage variance, it is equals to mix plus yield. I request you guys to please copy this part. It's the summary of what we have discussed. Then I'll be putting up one question in front of you. Miss Mamta Yadav, any doubts, my dear? Manohar, are you there? Any doubts, Manohar? Mr. Prashant, Mr. Pratna Sarthi, Miss Sai Divya, Miss Gomti, any doubts? Mr. Vijay Raghavan? So now there's a question for you. So when talking about the question, you guys have to calculate the standard quantity of A, B, and C right now in class. Rest, the entire question is homework for you guys. So please post the standard quantity. That is the standard quantity or we can say revised standard quantity. The second table. You guys have to write the second table. See, budgeted data is given. Actual data is also given. Revised standard. I have the price that is 5, 4, and 3. This data I want you guys to calculate. This quantity of A, B, C, I want you guys to calculate. Waiting for your answers, guys. So I have got answers from answer from Rohan Kumar. Very good, Rohan. Your answers are correct. Very good, Rohan. I'm waiting for these 3 answers. Quick, guys. Okay, so I've got answer from Rohan. Your answers are correct. Preeti Ketan, very good, correct answer. Nisha Kumari, incorrect answer, my dear. Still, you are not thorough with the concept. Yes, everyone, waiting for your answers, guys. Quick. I've got answer from Rohan and Preeti only. Nisha, please recalculate the figures. Your answers are incorrect. Yes, Divya. Mr. Mohammed. Shweta, waiting for your answers, guys. Swati. Quick, guys. Nancy, waiting for your answer. Mr. Bundy, waiting for your answers. Quick, guys. Divya. Kadambri. Mr. Yashwardhan. Mr. Jay Kanan. Tanishka. Ajay. Okay, so I've got answer from Miss Nisha Kumari. Incorrect answer. Mr. Bundy, incorrect answer. Avinash Patil, incorrect answer. Swati, incorrect answer. Shweta Maruti, incorrect answer. Don't get disappointed. Just do post all your answers. So, okay, I've got answer from Mr. Gondi Nagbala. Your answer is correct. So, I've got answer from Preeti, Rohan, and Mr. Gondi. All your answers are correct. Rest everyone incorrect answers, guys. Yes, Tanishka and Mr. Mohammed, where are you? Waiting for your answers, guys. Swati, your answer is also incorrect. Shweta, incorrect answer. Mr. Yashwardhan, waiting for your answer. Okay. So now I got answer from Mr. Jay Kannan. Your answers are correct. Very good. Mr. Yashwardhan, incorrect answer. Neha Sharma, very good, correct answer. Still, I have not received answer from many of the students. Waiting for you two guys to answers. See, guys, the reason. Okay, Anandita, incorrect answer. Tanishka, incorrect answers. Miss Sai Divya Gunturi, correct answer. Divya Kumari, waiting for your answer, my dear. Rest whose answers are incorrect, I request you guys to please post correct answer. See, guys, the reason for putting up these question is that अगर आप गलती करोगे तभी आपको पता चलेगा कि आप गलती करोगे, उसको रेक्टिफाई करोगे, then only you will remember that herein I have made this mistake. See, if I explain the things, it's very easy for you to understand. But yes, when you start solving the questions, आपको पता चलेगा कि where the things are going wrong. So that's why I put up these questions. So please can figure this is a mistake what I did in class, and I have not, I should not repeat this mistake again. So that is the reason why I do put up these questions. Something, I put a twist in every question which I generally ask in the session. So again, Mr. Mohammed, incorrect answer. Swati, incorrect answer. Nisha Kumari, incorrect answer. Gunjan, incorrect answer. Shweta, also incorrect answer. And see, I'm getting only two answers. First one is the correct answer, and second, the incorrect answer is same for every student. All the students whose answers are incorrect are same. So the same mistake each and every student is doing. Now, guys, let me rectify your mistake. It's already 9:36. As I told you guys, in material, what is the basis of comparison? Yes, this question is for the students who have posted incorrect answer. What is the basis of comparison in material? Quick, guys. You will be able to solve this question correctly. Don't worry. I want you guys to rectify your mistake. So what is the basis of comparison in material? Are these two figures comparable? Yes or no? No. So how to make them comparable? What is the basis of comparison? This question, Tanishka, again, your answer is incorrect. Okay, so I've got answer from Shwati, actual output. From Shweta Maruti, actual output. Anmol, your answer is also incorrect. What is the basis of comparison? Actual output. Okay, this question is not similar to the question what I have discussed. So see, when talking about this data talks about 1 unit of output. That is, very good Mohammed, very good Bandi, very good Jay Kanan, very good Mahendra. So when talking about this data is given for 1 unit of output. जरूरी नहीं है कि हर प्रोडक्ट में नॉर्मल लॉस हो. There can be n number of input to produce one output. Let's say in automobile industry, I am manufacturing car. Now there are almost 7 to 800 types of input, and we are getting output as one car. So here in this budgeted data is given for how many units of output? Only 1 unit of output. So it doesn't mean that 60 minus 159 is the normal loss. Normal loss हर industry में नहीं होता है. So after making 60 units, how much output I am getting? Only 1 unit as an output. So this data is given for how many units? 1 unit of output. And this data is given for how many units of output? 500 units of output. So is the output same? The output is not same. क्या output same है budgeted and actual? No, because budgeted data is given for 1 unit of output. and the actual data is given for 500 units of output. So is the figures, are these figures comparable? No, these figures are not comparable. We have to make them comparable. So for 1 unit, how much quantity is required for A? 10 kgs. 1 units require 10 kgs. So 500 units require how much kgs? Very simple, guys. 5,000 kgs. So in the last question, there were inputs also, and the output I have given separately after deducting. So now I think Anmol has rectified his solution. Swati, okay. So waiting for your answers, guys. Waiting for your answer. This data is given for 1 unit of output, and this data is given for 500 units of output. So 1 units required 10 units of A. So 500 units will require how much? Okay, very good, Swati. Now your answers are correct. Anmol, correct answer. Very good. Rest all waiting for your answers now. The correct answer. Quick, guys. It's already 9:40. Yes, Tanishka, Mohammed, Shweta, Nisha, Gunjan, Anandita, Yashwardhan, Bandi. So very good, Mr. Bana. Anmol has posted correct answer. Swati has posted correct answer. So very important, guys. Always do check the output, not the input. आपको input check नहीं करना है. You have to check the output. So very simple, guys. Now Tanishka has posted the correct answer. Swati has posted correct answer. Avinash has posted correct answer. Gunjan has posted correct answer. मैं चाहता तो ये directly discuss कर सकता था, but I just want you guys to make the mistake and then rectify it. So once you make a mistake, then if you rectify it, you can understand the concepts in a better way. So herein, when talking about 1 units require 10 kgs, so 500 units require 5,000 kgs. 1 units require 20 kgs, so 5,000 units require 10,000 kgs. 1 units require 30 kgs, so 500 units require 15,000 kg. So now I'm getting the correct answers from everyone. Very good. Yes, Mr. Jay Kanan. The basis of comparison in material is what? Output. Check the output should be the same. If the output is not same, see, there are few questions that are given in the study material wherein no information is given as regards output. So we will assume that the output is same. So no need to prepare revised standard. See, if the budgeted output and actual output are same, very important. If the budgeted output and actual output are same, no need to prepare revised budget. First, check the output. If the output is different, prepare revised budget. See, budgeted data is also given for 1 unit and actual data is also given for 1 unit. Then no need to prepare revised standard. So very good, everyone. Now, so guys, done with the material variance. First and the foremost thing what you have to check is the output. If output is same, no need for this. इसका कोई जरूरत ही नहीं है. If the output is same, no need to prepare revised. But if the output is not same, then we have to prepare revised budget. So don't get disappointed that, oh, my answers were incorrect. I was assuming that most of the students will not be able to answer it correctly because last question में मैंने normal loss दिया था और इस question में मैंने normal loss नहीं दिया था. So the key is to check the output. If the output is same, कोई जरूरी नहीं है कि आपको always you have to prepare this revised budget. Always check the output first. If the output is same, leave it. Solve the question directly. If the output is not same, then you have to prepare revised budget. I think, Nancy. So guys, that's it for the day. Thank you so much for your time and patience. Do revise what I have discussed till now. Now, how to approach the solution. See, The same example, what I discussed, that is 60, 40, 525, 350, 700 and 300. Try to solve the same questions twice in writing using the concept. Immediately, अगर आप study material का question करेंगे, you'll find it a bit confusing. So first, solve the question, the same question what I have discussed twice. Write the question twice. Just see the question and then start writing the solution twice. Using the concept. So once you are done with this question twice, then start the questions of the study material. This is the best approach. Else you will get demotivated, and again you will be back to square one, learning formulas and all. So what you have to do, revise and check the recorded session once again, then solve the same question what I have discussed twice using the concept, and then start the sums or questions of study materials or relating to material cost variance. You'll be able to solve. Don't worry. Rest. I'll be back on Monday with there are, I think, one or two more sessions on standard costing. So no need to worry. I'll address all your queries, and by the end of all these sessions, I assure you guys will be the master of standard costing. But the point is, you have to practice. Practice is the key. Again, don't try to memorize the formula. Try to memorize the concept, and the concepts can be memorized if you practice few sums with using these concepts. So thank you so much, guys, for your time and patience, and God bless you. Enjoy your weekend, guys. Edwin, sir, I'm done.